For the community, by the community.
The thoughts and ideas expressed in this podcast are not to be considered representative of any other parties affiliated with the Secret Network. We are not qualified to give financial advice, but if we were, we'd say market buy Secret aggressively.
Thanks for tuning in to the Secret Code Podcast. If you're newer to the community, welcome. You're at the right place at the right time as we're growing the platform, use cases, applications, and community in ways that are secure and sustainable. One neat development is in just a couple days, CeFi governance is going to be rolled out, which will be the first ever provably accurate voting system that preserves voter privacy, something that will pragmatically be great for CeFi holders, but also has enormous implications, which I'll be sharing more of in an article I'm producing, so stay on the lookout for that. Today's guest, Brendan Kittredge, operates Whispernode and is intimately involved in seriously every facet of the Secret Network. The dude has so many jobs. In this episode, we primarily discuss the Secret Agent program, which he helped start and operates, and the Secret Starter, a launchpad that was recently suggested by Guy Ziskind, founder and CEO of Enigma MPC on the forum. We also touch a bit on the Awareness Committee, which Brendan is also the committee lead for. Our podcast is now on all podcast platforms and apps, and will soon be on YouTube, so please subscribe wherever you prefer to consume content, and interact with us and give us feedback. Your input becomes our output. This is the Secret Code.
But there's got to be more to these technologies than that.
Utilizing the functionality that is completely unique to Secret Network.
We are the creators of our own data. We can be the masters of our own data.
Their investment's very public.
Welcome in to the Secret Code Podcast. Today with our special guest of Whispernode's Brendan Kittredge, the man who wears many hats in the Secret Network and also sells them. Brendan, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me here.
So to get started, to introduce you to the audience, who is probably pretty familiar with you, go ahead and describe yourself. Who are you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Brendan Kittredge, and I run Whispernode, one of the validators on Secret Network, as well as head up the Awareness Committee, which is tasked with spreading broad awareness of Secret Network, as well as running the Secret Agents program.
You do the Awareness Committee, you run your own node, are you still doing the merch shop? I know that was a thing for a while.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to mention that, and I'm currently running cryptographics.io, which is just a generic merch shop at this point that may be refocused into a strictly Secret Network merch shop as well.
Very cool, because right now you're running nodes on multiple different networks, correct?
Yep, I also run nodes on Sentinel Network as well as Osmosis.
Nice, so you're getting all involved in the Cosmos community. A lot of people do focus on marrying one network and one crypto, and one thing I like about Secret Network is that they're focusing on working and being interoperable and not just being it's us or the highway, but it's important that multiple chains grow together. So I like that you're bridging that gap from the validator point of view as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we at Secret Network have this vision of a multi-chain future, which I think was always shared with the Cosmos ecosystem, with IBC being implemented and all that, and allowing chains to be interoperable, but also specialize in whatever it is that they do well. And I think that's a model that we're going to see really catch on in the cryptocurrency space. I don't think it's going to be a case of one chain to rule them all.
Awesome. Love to hear it. So you told us a little bit about what you do in Secret Network, a little bit more as to who you are. What are some non-generic traits that specifically apply to you, that you identify with, that if your grandkid was describing you to your great-great-grandchild, how would you want them to connect to you?
Is it too cliche to say I'm an enigma?
I love it. It's definitely not generic.
I would say that about myself, I'm a very curious individual. I'm very introspective. And at this point in my life, I'm in my mid-30s here. And I've kind of lived a variety of different lives, it feels like. So I guess if I were describing it to my grandchildren, I would say I'm a man of many lives and many interests, and I'm still finding ways to find out more about myself and about where my interests lie and how I can marry those things all together to form one individual.
Dude, that is awesome. I absolutely love it. I've really enjoyed getting more in touch with the different people in the Secret Network because I'm finding more people that remind me of myself because sometimes I feel like an enigma and I've lived multiple lives from being a student to card counting to dealing to getting more involved in here. And I know that you, like Paul and I, are an athlete and also very focused on your physical life. I've seen you on your Twitter doing some outdoor sports and talking about doing calisthenics and lifting weights. So it's awesome that there's a lot of well-rounded people in this space. It's not just, sometimes I think people get the picture of fat computer nerds sitting behind a computer. A lot of us do a lot of things, and I like it. It's neat.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I definitely connect with those similarities. And yeah, man, I love being active. There's nothing I love more actually than being active, which is kind of funny because it's the complete opposite of what we do at Secret Network, right? Where, like you said, sitting on computers all day. And then I enjoy doing the polar opposite of that in being active and being outside and hiking and doing calisthenics and things like that. So absolutely, we have quite a community at Secret Network, quite the vast array of individuals in our community.
So Secret Network has an interesting long history. I mean, starting from Enigma, the ICO back in 2017, or even the white paper back before it. When did you get involved in Secret Network and how did that process happen?
So I was first introduced to cryptocurrency by my now CTO, actually. His name is Nick, and he works at Whispernode as well. And he was a developer who was paid strictly in Ethereum back in 2015, around there. And he at the time was explaining to me the applications that can be built on top of Ethereum and, explaining the evolution of cryptocurrency and blockchain from Bitcoin, which was strictly a currency, to this smart contract platform where decentralized applications can be built. So I came into cryptocurrency and blockchain around 2016. And then shortly after that, was the ICO craze, if you were around then and remember that time.
Yeah, I was in pretty early 2017.
Yeah, yeah. Hell of a time, right?
It was wild.
And I just remember, reading every white paper I could get my hands on, right? From an investor standpoint, trying to find, what I thought was the next big thing, but also just to satisfy my own curiosity of the space and where it was going and what the true possibilities were for blockchain. Seeing all these companies, propose all these different ideas was pretty awesome. I remember, stumbling upon the Enigma white paper at that time. And it just absolutely blew my mind that privacy, or data privacy specifically, was a problem that wasn't being addressed by any other project in the entire blockchain space. And I looked and looked and looked for another white paper that addressed this glaring issue, and I couldn't find one. And, thinking forward to the future of blockchain and smart contracts, I just couldn't imagine a future where real applications were built without addressing data privacy. And to put a nice bow on that question, I guess, so how long have I been involved? I've been in the Enigma community since shortly after the ICO, strictly as an investor at first, but growing in terms of my role in the community over the past few years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I absolutely share your sentiment when I kind of discovered what was going on in Enigma and then even how it has more so achieved its vision than it seemed like was even attempted initially as it was being built as an L2 on Ethereum. I'm, I see all these cool problems that are kind of trying to be solved in different blockchains, and I'm like, none of them are pragmatic. None of them make sense. They're solving problems but creating new ones. I'll trust this project once it's built on Secret Network. I'll trust this project once it's built on Secret Network. You can't just ignore user data and just leave it out there in the public for everyone. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about immutable blockchains, it's a pretty scary situation to think about that, everyone's entire, not only transaction history, but any application they use and all of that data from that application, once they use it, is out there forever, right?
Yeah, it's a pre-built nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So you've been involved since 2017. Your role has grown, and obviously now you have quite a few roles. And one of them is you are running the Secret Agent program. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would caution to say that it is a program that is community wide and has a variety of owners. I took on the role that I currently have with the Secret Agent program mostly just due to the fact that I was leading the awareness committee at the time. And this program and this idea had been kicked around for quite some time about having an ambassador program. And we used to, I mean, you've been with the community for a long time. You probably remember previous iterations of ambassador programs, back when the project was Enigma.
Yeah, so I actually did get accepted as an Enigma ambassador, and then they realized that I was kind of useless at the time, and now I'm hopefully developing a talent that can be useful. So now I'm trying to get something going as a secret agent here. But no, I recognized back then that Enigma at the time was going to be something that was imperative to the future. And so I wrote a nice response saying, like, look, you guys are going to change the world, and I want to be a part of it so I could tell my kids that I was there, that I did it, and I am, and I'm doing it, and it's awesome. And I've got 3 little ones now, and hopefully they're going to be proud of me when they're older. So we had the Enigma ambassadors, and now we have the secret agents. And since this kind of developed, since I had already been a part of the community, I never really got to see it from a new user perspective. And I've actually only recently learned the extent to which it's gone to. I was actually on a group call with the education head, Stefan, or Agent Dumdadum, and he was showing me the website you guys have set up for it and talking to me about how a lot of it is automated. I didn't realize that so much of it was automated.
Yeah, and this is kind of where I was going with the beginning of this question was the evolution of the ambassador program and ultimately leading to where we are currently with the secret agent program and where the vision for the future of the secret agent program is headed. This program at the first iteration, V0, I'll call it, right, was modeled after some other ambassador programs. It was kind of a Frankenstein program that took bits and pieces that I liked from other ambassador programs. It borrowed the idea of incentivization for social engagement and implementing secret missions, as we like to call them, for motivating community members to engage in social media and helping spread broad awareness for the project. And probably when you were first looking at the program, it's really come a long way and still has a long way to go, but it's been pieced together and iterated upon. So from that V0, back then we didn't even have the secret.network website up, for example. We only had the Discord, and the entire secret agent program was primarily done through the Discord. And then Darren and I started adding secret missions. We started automating a lot of the processes that I was doing manually at that time. We started implementing ranking for the secret agents, a reward system whereby people can earn secret by accumulating reputation and points for doing projects. And we're still iterating on that process. So yeah, from this V0, we're constantly building on it. And actually, previous to hopping on this podcast with you all, we were meeting as a broad community to discuss the future vision of the secret agent program and kind of what the next iteration will be.
Do you have any alpha on what that's going to entail?
Let's see. I don't know that it would be necessarily alpha because I'm not sure how building a community really correlates to token price. But I think the key for the next iteration is really developing a portal that is the home of the secret agent program. Right now we have agents.secret.network, and it's primarily built on Google Sites just so Darren and Stefan and I can throw up information very quickly being non-developers. But the problem we run into with running things on like a Google site is that it's not very engaging to the user. And ultimately, what the vision is for this program, at least in my mind, is to create not only somewhere where an agent can go and earn rewards and learn about the project and watch videos and become more educated about the network, but also something that's like really engaging and they get sucked into it and they want to stay there. They want to engage and they really just want to become a greater part of the community.
That's awesome, dude. I can't wait to see it and get involved in it. In talking both to Iowa and Stefan, they both talked about how awesome the secret agent program was, how that was the catalyst that kind of helped them build up in the community and was their way of meeting people so that they could get funding if they wanted to build or start a committee like Iowa did. And really, it's the way to work up as an up and comer to move from just a community member, which Paul and I are right now, to actually getting involved in something. And we're actually kind of lucky that we were able to get funding. We actually just got our snack approved, which I'll explain more later or in some other content. But I guess that's kind of rare because we weren't super high up in the secret agency, but we're open to it. Like we want to learn and see everything else that's going on. The more we learn about it, the more impressed we currently are. So I do actually have a couple more questions about secret agency because I'd love to know.
Sure.
First off, does it have to be a person or can an entity be a secret agent? Could our podcast sign up and try to become a recruit right now and have that be its own thing, or would that be considered gaming the system?
I never thought of whether it could be an entity or an individual. I don't see I don't see a reason it couldn't be an entity. You know, there's individuals behind an entity, and an entity really is just establishing a group of individuals as one individual, really.
Mini agency?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How many ranks are there? I know that there is a point system. I don't know too much about it yet, but that the more points you earn, you rank up, and over time, you get higher rewards, I believe. Can you talk me through that process?
Sure. So right now there are 6 ranks within the secret agent program. There is a recruit, which is essentially someone new that has just signed up for the program. We're going to be revamping a lot of the onboarding process for this. But essentially, you know, there's going to be various links to the secret agent program, and then someone will fill out a form expressing their interest in becoming a secret agent. And, you know, right away they are deemed a secret agent recruit.
So that's where I am.
Yeah, I mean, you've been around for a while. We kind of have this weird like because this is an iterative program and things are constantly evolving. A lot of the people that were previous ambassadors or like already involved deeply in the community, it was hard to determine what rank do they come in with, or how do you map over people that were already contributing to the ecosystem into this new program. So the focus was really on new members of the community. And, you know, maybe there's something to be said about an improvement there, but I guess the way I view it is that everyone that's been in the community for like a long period of time and been contributing in a variety of ways, they're already a secret agent in my mind.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, I do like that everyone's treated equal and this is a meritocracy. And I've had just as much opportunity as everyone else who's come up here since has, and I didn't take the time to learn about it. And so I'm trying to now because this whole podcast is about spreading awareness and bringing educational content to everyone at every stage. And so if there are people like me who have been here for 4 years who have had things been built up underneath them and we need to get them caught up. And so I'm trying to do that for myself so I can help other people do it as well. And hopefully we can make some tutorials if we are able to set up our podcast as an entity and kind of show what the start of a secret agency looks like.
Absolutely. It's time for the secret agent program to not be a secret anymore. I think part of the struggle, at least in my mind, of spearheading this initiative was because it was so iterative and pieced together and constantly changing, it was really difficult for me to have a grand blog post announcement to the community of the secret agent program is live. It's kind of been in this like beta testing mode for quite some time, but I think we're approaching a point where the program is fairly automated, is fairly detailed, the vision is becoming a lot more clear, and hopefully we can get the portal and things like that in a good spot as well. And I think it's really time to start pushing this program more and moving from that kind of beta stage to a real launch of the secret agent program.
Yeah. So several people have completed this program and made it to the highest rank, correct?
Yeah. Do you want me to go through the ranks? I guess I didn't really answer that question.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So as someone comes in and fills out the interest form and they're kind of onboarded as a secret agent recruit, then they can start right away performing small tasks for the network. Follow us on our socials, invite a friend to Discord. There's all kinds of missions listed on the Secret Agent portal website. And right away, it's pretty easy to obtain the next rank, which is informant. And there's different ranges of accumulated points for these ranks. So when you achieve the rank of informant, there's some rewards. You get $5 in secret, you're added to a special Telegram channel. And as you move through these ranks, you're earning rewards and earning reputation and contributing to the project in greater and greater ways. So after informant, you have handler. After that, you have spy master, and then bagman. And then finally, you have the coveted secret agent rank, which, has some pretty significant rewards in terms of $150 worth of secret. You get memorialized on the secret agent website. There's kind of a leaderboard there. And then something that's going to be really cool that we're currently working on is minting secret agent NFTs for everyone that's achieved the rank of secret agent. And I'm hoping we can finalize that in the coming weeks here.
That is very cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to catch up there. I love it. I need to get my own NFT. What is the fastest somebody has gone from a recruit to a secret agent? How long did that take?
That's a good question. Darren and I kind of built the point system with an estimate in our minds about how long it would take people and how many hours it would take people to accumulate that amount of points. I will say that Stefan was by far and away the fastest secret agent. And I don't want to say he gamed the system. He used the rules that were put in place to his advantage to achieve that rank as quickly as possible.
Fair enough. There was a contest for the Secret Heroes NFT game going on, and I may or may not have gamed that system to place in that contest. And I'm not the only one, so.
No, you're not. Were you using bots for that?
I was not using bots, but I was using multiple wallets and fighting myself.
Oh, interesting.
It costs a lot in gas, but I did profit. Not as much as the time put in, but it was also fascinating, and anything that's built on Secret, I'm going to check it out.
Very cool, very cool.
So good for you, Stefan, and especially since now there are, at least what he showed me a little bit, there are some rewards for if you are to write educational content on pre-approved needed ideas. And now that he's the educational, I assume he was writing a decent amount of content. So I'm sure he earned every secret he got.
Yeah. It's not to say he didn't earn it, but by any means. It was shocking how fast those points were accumulated. There's a mission that Darren and I had implemented where if you answer community questions that you get certain points for that, in chats and things like that. We didn't really expect that someone would report all of the questions that they answer all of the time. But that's a clearly beneficial task to the community, right? Like, what more value can you bring than answering other people's questions?
That's awesome. And if people don't test the system doesn't grow. So good job, Stefan.
Exactly.
All right, that brings us to our game show,
Oh, geez.
The Viewing Key.
Oh, God.
Let's look into The Viewing Key. The question isn't why do you have to make one on Secret Network? The question is why don't you everywhere else? So, for the Viewing Key, we ask our guests a question from an aspect of the Secret Network that they aren't typically associated with. So, coming from the analytics side of Secret Network, how many secrets are there currently in circulation? Is it A, 5.4 million, B, 8.7 million, C, 11.2 million, or D, 18.8 million?
I'm guessing I shouldn't go to the Secret Analytics site and look up the answer, huh?
So you know the Secret Analytics site, because that will be linked.
All right, I won't go on the website and look. I'll take a guess. Let's go with, what was the 8 million? That was answer C.
B, 8.7.
Yeah, let's go with answer B.
That is incorrect, but I'll give you the points for knowing where to go. It is C, 11.2 million.
Oh, that was my next guess.
And since you know, what is the analytics site to go to for that?
It is secretanalytics.xyz.
You are absolutely correct. And listeners, you can check that here in the episode description or in the tweet that you found this episode on. Our analytics team works hard at coming up with that. While yes, trading is safe and private with what you're doing with the current polls, analytics are taken from SecretSwap.io, so they know kind of what's going on, just not who's doing it. So there's privacy, but there's also security and analytics. All right, back to our conversation. We're dropping this episode on Sunday the 25th, but we're recording it here on Thursday the 15th. So there might have been some developments by the time the listeners are hearing this. But as far as I'm concerned, just yesterday, Guy Ziskind dropped some pretty big news on the forum, which if you want to check out the forum and some of our most recent developments, it's forum.scrt.network. And he talked about a secret starter, which would be a launch pad for new programs, new platforms running ICOs on the Secret Network. And he mentioned that you were involved in that. Could you walk us through what the secret starter is going to look like?
Yeah, so this is actually an interesting project, and it's funny how this arose, actually. So probably a month and a half ago, JC, John Secret Island, and I were discussing projects on Secret Network and trying to think of something to build on the network. And JC was friends with Mark from Avalanche. They did a launch pad in the Avalanche ecosystem. So actually, this idea for Secret Starter was something JC or John Secret Island and I were discussing probably a couple months ago. And at that time, I was talking to a development team who I was trying to recruit to do some work in the Secret Network. And it was my idea that this would be a great project to get a new development team, get their hands dirty in the ecosystem, give them something to jump into, something to build, and get familiar with secret contracts. For a variety of reasons, parties traveling, I got really sick. The initial conversations around that Secret Starter project got delayed a bit, and I was in the process of getting a proposal from this development team when John and Guy from Enigma really indicated that they wanted to get more involved in it directly and that they'd like to see a much more aggressive timeline on the project. So a lot of the initial thoughts and research that I was doing on different launch platforms, the direction was changed a little bit into working more closely and directly with the Enigma team. And so Guy has really jumped in and provided input and ideas about how he thinks this platform can be built. But, at the end of the day, how the project arose was we all recognize that as a layer one protocol, we're going to need to attract projects and developers to build on the network. We have a variety of resources available to deploy to different people and teams on the network, but there's not really an easy forward facing way to crowdfund and issue tokens and things like that. So, in creating a project like that, I think it's just a matter of like taking these resources we have and creating a user friendly way to deploy them.
Yeah, I love seeing that it is being built, and I know there are multiple projects currently in development that would love to be able to use it. I mean, the arguments there that had we have built this earlier, Sienna would have used our platform instead of PokeStarter.
Yep.
And I think the more things that are built and launched on Secret, the better it is for the Secret, the CFI holders, just the entire ecosystem. And as investors, it's what you want to see, but also as people actively trying to grow the platform, you're not going to get adoption if you don't build it. So I love seeing it come. Just reading through the forum post, Guy mentioned using LP tokens as the deposits for these ICOs, which is very similar to what PancakeSwap does. My questions on that is, Tor famously says on his podcast that the three most important things on an exchange are liquidity, liquidity, and liquidity. Do you think using LP tokens through the starter will be good or bad for liquidity, and why?
Yeah, so the proposed usage of LP tokens that Guy had posted on the forums, I think at this stage in the development of the Secret Starter platform, that is just one avenue that's being explored for a potential supply sink for Secret and CFI and for a mechanism of how the Secret Starter platform will work. There's been a lot of other ideas that were researched and thrown around. This is kind of just the current suggestion from Guy and the Enigma team. I don't want to directly say that that was my input or my decision, but it is put up on the forums for discussion. And I think it's very important that the community as a whole get involved in that discussion and talk through all of the potential impacts of using LP tokens, and even for that matter, using CFI in general, because we're going to have CFI governance coming soon to the network. And that kind of adds a layer of complexity to this proposed solution of using secret CFI LP tokens as well. So not only are you affecting potentially the liquidity on SecretSwap, but you're also perhaps impacting things on the governance side for CFI itself. And I'm not sure how the CFI holders and those that are active in the CFI governance are going to feel about any of this at this point. So it's a great point you brought up that there's potential impacts, and I think it's something everyone in the community needs to weigh in on. And this is by no means something that I, or even for that matter, Enigma, should control in a bubble.
It's definitely very interesting because not only the game theory, but the governance, as you mentioned. If the LP tokens usage creates a supply sink, that would raise the price and could actually cause more liquidity. Also, the fact that Secret and CFI kind of are, Secret is proof of stake, but you can stake both of them and earn rewards. Like, does that mean that the people that are staking will only replenish it with their staking rewards, or just the fact that there are other ways to earn yield than liquidity provision? Will that affect how much liquidity provision is replaced? It is interesting, especially with CFI governance coming out, and it would be sad to see the decision made on the behalf of CFI before governance rolls out, but it would be interesting to kind of think about like who does control this. Is the starter part of SecretSwap? Is it something completely separate on the protocol? Like how much overlap is there? So yeah, I'll definitely get involved on the forum, and it will be for some interesting discussion, which I'm always here for.
Yeah, I think we could do a whole podcast probably just alone on the secret starter idea and where it should live and how it should function. So it's an interesting project. I think we're in I don't want to say a predicament, but we're in an interesting situation where, we need it as soon as possible. We need a way for projects to be able to raise and issue tokens as soon as possible. That's going to be an important factor in attracting self-sustainable teams to the network. We need teams to be able to raise significant amounts of money like Sienna Network did, using Polkastarter. And we hope that there's, other projects that are in the works on Secret Network that need this product right away. I know, for example, protocol will be coming in the next few months here, and I know that they would love to have a platform to raise on.
Yeah, it's obvious to see why the Secret Starter is valuable, both for secret holders to get more projects coming in as SNP20s and just making their token more valuable, but also for projects that are weighing their options for where to do an ICO, where to do a starter. Because right now, the audience for Secret Network is smaller, but I think we all agree that Secret is going to gain massive exposure and it is going to grow exponentially. And it is far more sustainable for real life, pragmatic applications. And the fact that you can have an ICO on Secret Network that would leave the users their own privacy and security, it is huge. So what would be the first steps for current projects that are weighing over their options? Like, who should they get in touch with? But what would be your elevator pitch for Secret Starter?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, before the development is even finished for a Secret Starter, there's going to be a landing page that will have a call to action for interested projects. It'll probably be just in the form of a simple Google form or something like that to express their interest and start talking directly to myself and the Enigma team and other developers in the network and other stakeholders. But I guess the elevator pitch would be that a Secret Starter platform would be utilized for any project that is building with privacy or programmable privacy in mind, that's interested in truly building their product on Secret Network and utilizing the functionality that is completely unique to Secret Network. In addition to projects that are interested in utilizing the privacy technology of Secret Network, it's also interesting in that these raises in the distribution of SNP20 tokens could be somewhat private. So for larger like VC firms or big investors that may not want their portfolio of projects to be public, I think that's a unique offering that could potentially be explored by Secret Starter. If a project and a VC firm goes in on an Ethereum project, their investment's very public, right? We all know that on-chain analytics and things like that, it can be uncovered pretty quickly what people are investing in. So maybe that offers a unique functionality that other launchpads don't have.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had not thought of it from a VC perspective. I was thinking that just making a project as a SNP20, you could brand it as caring about your customers and the users of the dApp because you're worried and obviously caring about their security and their privacy instead of just like, you'll use us and when you get doxxed and you get robbed because you're out in an Uber and everyone knows that you're gone, then oh well. But looking at it from a VC perspective where you might not want everyone to know what you're invested in, you might not want them blaming you every time the price goes down or looking into when you're trying to sell off some of your stack.
Yep.
That's absolutely fascinating. I'm a big believer in Secret Network. I expect it to be better for all involved just because of the protocol it's built on. But that's a neat perspective. Thank you for adding that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like a third factor, and I think as this kind of MVP product iterates over time, a third aspect clearly is the cross-chain compatibility that is already being built in the Secret Network. The potential for Secret Starter to accept currencies from many different chains as contributions to a sale. We already have bridges into Ethereum. We already have a bridge into BSC. We're going to have a Monero bridge soon. Being able to utilize a lot of these bridges and do cross-ecosystem raises is another big factor.
Yeah, absolutely. transitioning to your role as an awareness committee lead, what are some events you've personally attended?
Yeah, obviously we've been in a pandemic for the past year or so, and we saw the first live events start to pop up. So Tor and I were actually able to attend the Bitcoin conference in Miami, and we printed a bunch of t-shirts and hats, and we set up a lot of meetings that week, and we kind of set up our own booth outside the conference at this coffee shop nearby, Panther Coffee. If you're ever in Miami, is an awesome little coffee joint there. But we met so many awesome individuals, in the crypto space, in the blockchain space, doing everything from trading to, creating NFTs. We talked to a lot of NFT creators while we were there, and it was just so awesome to transition from the purely digital world of the pandemic to an in real life event for once.
Are you an extrovert?
I would consider myself an extroverted introvert.
Okay.
I have the ability to be an extrovert, but definitely need to recharge after doing so.
My wife is one of you people.
What would you consider yourself?
I am an extrovert.
Okay.
I was a closeted extrovert for much of my childhood, but that happens to some of us. And it definitely makes it easier for me to get involved in media and talk to people.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoy talking to people in small groups or like one-on-one. Like I'll do it all day. It's like big parties that tend to drain me a little bit.
Fair enough. Well, if you guys are ever in Los Angeles or anywhere in Southern California where I can travel to right now, I'd love to get involved and hang out at a booth with you guys and help give out some shirts and hats.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope that as stuff opens back up after this pandemic, that we're going to have a lot more in real life events, attend more conferences, organize individual meetups and things like that all around the country and world.
Awesome. Do you guys have any meetings planned anytime soon?
There's none planned. I believe there is going to be a conference in Puerto Rico in December that I'll be attending. There's no details that are public on that yet, but I've heard through the Puerto Rican crypto community that there's something that's going to pop up in December.
Very cool. So since you're obviously involved in awareness and Secret Network, what's your opinion on the current awareness of privacy in general? Where do you see it headed, and how does Secret Network play a part in that?
I think the awareness on privacy from a blockchain standpoint primarily focuses on this transactional privacy aspect, focusing solely on a Zcash or a Monero, and maybe even more focusing on like hiding your transactions and nefarious actions in a way. Or at least that's what like the general public associates privacy in the blockchain space with. I don't think we've really evolved beyond that at this point. I think that narrative is still going to play out at some point where people realize that it's not just the transactional privacy that we need to care about, but the underlying data if we're going to be using decentralized applications. At some point, I do believe that the Secret Network message will become a big deal in the blockchain space.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Brendan. And for people who are wanting to get involved, be it on the awareness committee or really take that first step as a secret agent, where can they best access you?
Yeah, so if people want to contact me directly, I'm always open to having a conversation. On Discord, I'm on there frequently. My name on there is Brendan _Whispernode #1111, as well as Telegram. I'm at BK Blockchain, and I'm also on Twitter on @Whispernode. And for anyone wanting to get involved in the secret agent program, I highly recommend going to agents.scrt.network and poking around that site and filling out the sign up form to indicate your interest in becoming a secret agent. And if anyone has any questions about the secret agent program or Secret Network at large, or needs a walkthrough and tutorials on using various products in the ecosystem, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. This is what I love to do. This is what I'm here for.
I knew I was going to forget one of the many hats you wear. Brendan has an awesome YouTube channel. If you just search in YouTube for Whisper Node, he's been making most of the tutorials for the new developments in Secret Network, and it'll really help you, whether it's using the Binance Smart Chain bridge or using Ledger to stake your tokens. He's got a tutorial on it, and it's super helpful. And also, to further support Brendan, if you're currently invested in Secret, DVPN, or Osmosis, you can delegate to Whisper Node Validator, currently at, is it 5% commission on all platforms?
I believe it's less on Sentinel. And, actually, I would say that at this point and stage in the game, on Secret Network at least, I feel very blessed to be in the position I'm in as a validator and contributor to the ecosystem. I would love to see, for a decentralization standpoint, people actually delegate to some of the smaller nodes on the network that are making contributions.
Like the Secret Code podcast node that's coming up pretty soon?
There you go. Exactly.
Thanks, man. What a guy. I appreciate that. That's really nice. It's really cool when people are actually kind of turning down more money in order to see the ecosystem that they're building on grow. That's pretty cool, because we're not paying Brendan to be on the show. We're taking full advantage of his time, his voice, and his expertise. So thank you, Brendan. We really appreciate having you here.
Thank you guys for having me.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Brendan Kittredge. If you guys want to reach out and get involved with our podcast, please follow us on Twitter at Secret Code Pod or email us at secretcodepodcast@protonmail.com. We'll have more content coming soon. Thank you for deciphering the secret code. For the community, by the community. New episodes every Sunday. Secret Sunday. Okay, so you guys noticed that section of the show was bleeped out. Clearly, it was some alpha. And I really do like you guys to listen to the whole outro. So I suppose I'll give you guys a little hint. The name of the protocol that's being released is